Hi, it's Mary Kay. I thought I would show you something that I have figured out to do for December for my meal planning. So this is November. For several months now, I have been making a little booklet from the A5 pages. When I switched from A5 to Dori, everything made me super happy except I love these for my meal planning. So I figured out a way to add them to my Dori without washi taping them all in because that was driving me crazy. So what I do, or what I did, was I take a piece of the planner paper and cut it to the right size with a tab, and then I cut down all the week on ones to the page size, to the size of the Dori. Make them a little bit smaller so they don't stick out if you care about that. And then I just washi tape them together one by one onto the backing paper. And then that tab slips between the staples. But I got this other idea this month because when I was setting up my Dori, I took this out of my brand new, incredibly beautiful red patent Webster's pages, and somehow this just struck me and gave me an idea. Instead of sticking them in my existing Dori, I have 4 strings after all. Why don't I make a completely separate booklet? My first thought was to cut these and paste them in here, and then I could have several months actually, but it would start to get really bulky. So instead I decided to do this. I'm going to take these pages, and because there are 5 of them and I need 6, things come in pairs in the Dories, I'm going to use a daily to-do page for the 6th one. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting down, I'm looking to see which ones I labeled. There we go, that I marked. Okay, so I'm cutting down half of them just a little. And so basically it'll be the width of the Dori plus a ½ inch. Then I'm cutting the others down to the width of the Dori. There's the mark on those. So the idea behind this is that I will be able to glue them together without covering any of the week on one page and make them into a Dori booklet. There is a very good pair of videos by our customer Pramita, who her YouTube is Indian Planner Pramita, who cuts these up and makes them into, and see, the daily's going to look weird because it's just cut in a funny place. I just needed an extra page to do it with. And then, so Pramita has where she cuts up the papers, or I think she uses personal. So I'm only going to cut maybe ½ inch off of this one. She uses personal and she makes them into Dori by gluing them into a spine with Mod Podge, which is another great idea. But I didn't have very many and I didn't think that would work here. So next I'm going to score the left-hand pages, if you will. This is a Score Pal. I love it. I've had it a long time, as you can see from how grungy it is, but it makes me super happy. So I need to score that at about the place that it will bend, so that's at the 4 1/4 mark. You wouldn't have to do the scoring, I guess, but I think it's going to end up being much easier to deal with. I also think I should have done this one page at a time. Rethinking my process as I go here. So when you score this, it will just bend easier and make kind of a neater booklet. So there's that. Those are scored. Now I'm going to, like I said, start with the thing I want last, which is just this filler page. I thought about printing out a printable and using that for the last page. You totally could do that. I just didn't because I wanted to get this video done. So I don't know if you know this. This is Scotch Dot Roller. It is my favorite adhesive. I owned a scrapbook store for a while, and we had something called Kokuyo, which was a similar Japanese adhesive. I was always, every trade show, was always searching for the best adhesive, and this is by far my favorite. It comes in permanent. I think there's an extra tack one. I don't know exactly why you'd want that. And then there's a temporary one too, but I find the permanent is all I ever use. So what I was about to say about it is, as long as you get the top and bottom nice and tight, you don't need to put, adhesive over the whole thing. We'd see people do that. We'd have make and take days and they'd come in and they'd go through, half a roll of adhesive making one card. That's just not necessary. Particularly when I'm paying for the adhesive and you're not. But in any case, you don't need to use your adhesive that way either. And you can use an adhesive if you want. I see a lot of people use ATG guns. I've never been able to master that quite well, so I don't use one. But you can use pretty much any. You could use a glue stick for that matter. Whatever you want. Okay, so now they're glued together. And when I fold them at that score, you know what? I'm going to fold them all separately too because it'll make a crisper edge. When I fold them at the score line, look how nice and crisp that is. So it's kind of a bookmaking thing, bookbinding thing. If you've ever read about that or taken a class or anything, you make the signatures, they call them, to go into a book. That one came out a little crooked because I folded it wrong. You can see there that I folded it wrong. So I'm going to try again. But this will be inside. Nobody will see this part. If one of them is a little too long, you can cut it off if you care. So these will be on the outside. These will go on the inside. And there you have it. See, the back ones stick out a little more. So you could trim that if you wanted, or you could cut the other one a little smaller, whatever you wished, or glue it a little closer to the edge. I was trying to be cautious. So there you have that. And then I thought, okay, now I need a cover for this. So what I'm going to do is essentially the same thing with this beautiful paper. So this will be the inside and this will be the outside. Again, I'm going to cut off about a half an inch, maybe a little more, from the front one. And then the back one needs to be the width of the Dori, or a little narrower. We're going to make it a little narrower because now we know. Oh, I got to see which side I'm cutting. Hold on. I don't guess it matters. Maybe I want to look and see how it looks. So this will be the front. I think I want to cut off this side. Again, measuring the Dori, which if I recall was 4 1/4, so we want to go a little beyond that. So there's 4 1/4 there. So I'm going to make it a little smaller than that. And then that will allow me to do essentially the same thing. Again, I'm going to score at 4 1/4, just to make it easier. And glue it on. I'm going to try to get a little closer to the score line this time, but I don't want to make it hard to fold. And then you can fold it. And inside there go the pages that we created. And then you have a dilemma about how to attach these. Oh, I forgot this paper is a little high too, a little longer than the Dori, so I'm going to trim the top and bottom to fit the Dori properly, but if you can see. So I'm going to end up trimming that, and this actually is about the width of one of those white lines too much, so I'll trim that too. And I'll trim the edge so it's neat, but now you have a dilemma of what to do. You can put this over a string and it will stay together. You don't really need to attach this in if you don't want to. Let me free up a string and we can see how that works. Or if you have a long reach stapler, obviously you could do that. Or you could sew it. You could just do a few little pieces. Where did my extra string go? There. You could do a few little stitches down the middle if you wanted, but I don't really think I need to do that because it's going to sit just fine right there on my string. And I'm only going to use it for a month, obviously, and then I'll take it out. And I am not one who saves everything from my planner, so I might fix that. I don't know. That's a little dorky looking. Oh, I should have done the other side. Anyway, I'm not one who saves everything, so I might just toss it when I'm done. Or I might not. But in any case, you can decide whether to bind it for real or not. Okay, so I'm back and I've trimmed this up. So I trimmed a little bit off the bottom. I trimmed a little bit off the side with the paper trimmer that I just showed you, that Fisker's rotary. It's really easy to do that. You can cut the whole thing at one time. And I fixed the daily page at the end. I couldn't stand it. So now it looks a little better. So now my little booklet is ready to go. I'm not going to bind it, but you could by just stitching it or whatever, or long reach staple it. I'm going to put a tab and a label on it. In the past, I didn't really have a cover for that little booklet that I used, so I only could put the tab on the back where the stiff paper was, that I had mounted it onto. But now, because I have a little cover in the front, if you will, I can put the tab on the front, which makes a little bit more sense. This is, by the way, one of the tabs from the die cuts, which had stripes on it. I think it was this pattern, and it didn't go with what I wanted it to. I didn't want those stripes. So this is the sticker from the planner stickers, the planner tab stickers. It's one of them. Sorry for my arms. It's the tab sticker that I just laid right down on top of the cardstock tab. And that way it matches better. I like it better this way, but it's nice and stiff. It's not floppy like the stickers on their own, which makes me happy. And then I'm going to label it, because it is, after all, my meal planning. We always have a sticker that says meal plan on the tab label stickers. Just so you know, you can get a number of things with your subscription now added on. So if you only get the pages, or the booklet, or if you get more than one insert, you use different planners, whatever the reason might be, you can get the die cut tabs. So here are all my die cut tabs. I'll show you my whole setup in a minute. So you can get the die cut tabs, you can get these tab label stickers, you can get those, I've already cut mine in half, but because it fits better in my planner, but you can get the planner stickers. This is the planner sticker. You can get the washi tape that comes in the planner kit. In this case, it was this one with the dots. You can get the sticky notes or the notepad, all as additions to your subscription. Beginning with the January shipment, so the February planners, you'll also be able to get the pocket cards from the pocket kit, memory keeping kit. We ran low on those because we'd already ordered them when we began offering them. So we had to cut those off, but then you'll be able to get those as well. So there I am. I finished my little meal plan booklet, and I'm really kind of excited to try it out this month. And then let me walk you through my whole setup. Get all these little pieces out of the way. So I was, for a while, using the month tab to go over my Dori. I might still put some paper over it because there's so many pretty papers that we got this month that I would like to use. I might make a cover out of that. This one came in one of the Christmas kits, and I love it. It's not quite as long, though, so I'd have to think about whether to mount that on cardstock or how I feel about that. So, like I said, sometimes I cover it, sometimes I don't. I did use one of the transparencies to make a pocket where I can store my stickers. That's why I cut this one in half, so that it fits in there as well. I turned them backwards just because it looks prettier in the pocket. I just saw someone else's brilliant idea to use the hole reinforcers. So I use the middle sometimes to make bullet lists, but I never use the reinforcers much because I don't use a ring binder, and someone just showed that it fits. See, I've already put a star on there. I'm going to pull up my star. It fits perfectly around a date. I apologize that I'm not giving you credit because I can't remember now who did that, but it's on the Planner Fans group and you can totally find it and give her 3 cheers because that was brilliant. So I usually do a running monthly to-do list here. Clearly haven't started that. And then there was another question on Planner Fans about what do you do if the week starts deep into the month starts deep into the week like it did this month. Some people start, this would be December 1. I would never be able to know what day it was if I did that. I've got to keep the days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I do this. But it gives me an opportunity to cut out some of the papers and use decoration on these blocks. And I didn't do that this month. Here, let's go back a month, shall we? We'll travel back in time. And I'll show you what I did in November. I didn't do it in November either. How is this even possible? Maybe I did it at the end of the month. I normally take big chunks. No, I didn't. Toss that aside. How about September? I know I did it in October, but I don't have October handy. Oh, there's the example of the monthly tab page from the A5. And again, I always use the transparency. Oh, here we go. This is when I think I first did it. So these are chunks of the planner paper cut out and filling in those empty days. And I really like that. I like the way it adds color and it makes me happy. I'm not sure why I didn't do it this month. Maybe because I had so many die cuts I felt I needed to use. This is a sticky note. I might pull that up and put a piece of paper there. So I did this in A5 and now I do it again in Dori. I still do it. I divide with skinny washi usually my pages in 2. Look, it's Christine's birthday on the 7th. Don't forget to say happy birthday. I divide my pages in 2 with skinny washi and I just use different ones. This is something I showed too. I had a little bit, so I put the transparency in using my tab method, and then I had a little bit left. So I just sandwiched it between the Betty and the Simon cards so that I could use it in my Dori, like I would have punched those cards to put them on the rings of my A5. As you can see, I'm sort of constantly in search of how to make this more like my A5 and still be a Dori. I've got a list of Christmas ideas. I've got a list of Christmas presents I've bought. I can't show that in case one of my offspring watches this. And then Simon, he came from a planner class kit, 102 I think, and he moves again with me from month to month. Someone had said they hope to get one in the FAQ giveaway grab bags I'm doing, and that is not going to happen because Simon is going to stay with me. And of course I can't get him back on while I'm on camera. I don't use the back of my Dori all that much. I think this month I might do more memory keeping because it's December. And then I have this insert from Webster's Pages that is, I love how I can stick my sticky notes in here. I often have more than one that fits and I haven't gone to look for my old ones. This is a monthly planner that I just, every month, so I stamped it ahead. It's 2 years worth. I stamped it ahead with the dates. It took me multiple tries. You don't even want to know. You can see the white out on the month there. But I stamp it ahead so that I can jot things down that are coming up, people's birthdays, appointments, and so on. But then when I get my kit, I zhuzh it up to match the kit. And you can see I've had it since July. And that makes me happy. And I can plan ahead. And then, but the other thing about this, as you can see, I put just a little bit of washi on every month, all the different washis I have pulled out. And I had another strip of this on there, but I took it off because I used it the other day while I was out. I needed some washi to hold these on. That might not have been the perfect washi to choose though, because it's not sticking as well. We'll have to rethink that. My bills to pay go in here. When I'm using a Webster's Pages, I put the notepad here. When I'm using a different Dori that doesn't have a back pocket, or I don't have room for as many inserts, I clip my bills on this back just to keep them with me so that I can pay them as I have time. And of course, So we of course got that beautiful red pen this month, but it didn't have enough contrast with my beautiful red planner, so I decided that the May pen was the perfect match. I may or may not have a Secret Santa pen coming from Pen Gems, and that may or may not supplant the green. We'll see what happens when it gets here. And then I decorate my pockets with all my Simons, and these Simons move with me every month as well. This is from last year. We had that little polar bear last year in the December planner. And then I also got very excited when I figured this out. So I love these poinsettias that came in the 12 by 12 memory keeping kit. And the little gems also came in one of the kits. Sorry, I don't know which one. Probably the 12 by 12. And I put the gems in the center because there was just a little hole there. And then I attached it to the tag on my Webster's Pages TN because I hate these tags. They annoy the crap out of me, and I've not yet gotten the nerve to take some wire cutters to them. But instead, I decided I really like that. So in the future, I may just find something to stick on it every month. So that's my little December walkthrough. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks.